Couple's home gets quarantined after finding unusual object on a beach. Imagine going for a stroll on a typical beautiful evening, then coming upon the strangest thing you've ever laid eyes on. A huge rock, but was it a rock? Not only that, you end up being stuck outside your house because the authority figures you called in to deduce what it is came in droves and quarantined your home. Yes, this is hard to fathom, but one couple lived it after deciding to do more than look at the strange object but to seek help. Here's what happened next. It was early 2016 when Steve Whitten and his spouse Viola were strolling on Middleton Sands. It was their preferred shoreline in Lancashire, England. It was a block away from home and offered great views of the Irish Sea. The pair lived in the village of Overton. Stephen and Viola liked to walk around quiet and unpopular places. They liked Middleton Sands. It wasn't their idea of relaxing, being in the midst of a crowd. When they were looking out at the view, Stephen noticed something's not quite right. It smelled like something bad and it was bothering him. They weren't prepared for what they were certain to come across. The odors reeked like rotten cabbage. They had not encountered this before. Stephen and Viola were really curious about the smell even after being repulsed by it, and so they kept walking around. It was then they discovered a slightly less than rugby ball-sized grayish lump. Stephen and Viola trailed the stench straight to where it came from. A bizarre and disgusting smelling rock was beached by the waves. It was worn smooth through the decades, at least by the pounding of the waves. What did the duo find? Stephen reached for the stone very gently. He read books on beaches, particularly the area where he was standing. However, Stephen has never heard of a smelly rock being found. The whole reason he got intrigued by it. He sniffed the rock and concluded that he'd never experienced such a stench before. The rock smelled horrible but also very recognizable. He said it smelled like organic manure fused with a squid. Stephen and Viola were always dreaming of winning the jackpot, and maybe that day has come. The couple struggled to decide over what to do with the stone. They didn't actually know what to do. They were debating whether they should leave it behind because of its unendurable smell or bring it home. So what did they agree on? This pair's always had the dream of being rich, and if they happened to grab it, well, they believed that by hedging their bets they could live up to their vision. They were wishing that it would bring them heaps of cash and assist them in buying a static caravan. Stephen decided to bring the rock home. He wrapped it in Viola's scarf and wanted to make sure no one would find out about the rock. He couldn't wait to do some further research to find out if his suspicions were correct. Immediately, the couple got out their fishing scales to measure the oddly shaped lump. It made the couple more excited because it weighed 3.5 pounds. Stephen knew he needed some help if he wanted to get to the bottom of this. Stephen posted a picture of the rock on their Facebook group. The instant the photo was uploaded, comments poured in. Wait and see what they did next. People left messages with their theories about what the rock was and where it came from. It was thought to be a piece of molten ash from the ocean floor. Others thought that it looked like an asteroid. An aspiring meteorologist commented that Stephen should try to find out what is actually on the rock. The guy argued that his hypothesis was right and a magnet test would prove it, but in the end he was wrong. Stephen told the reporter the rock felt like a rubber ball. It was solid and waxy like a candle. When touching the candle, wax sticks to your fingers. What do you think it is? If you'll think of it, it's the odd-looking rock that would cause the Whittens so much trouble. After Stephen tested the rock with a magnet, he immediately thought something was wrong. We're getting scared too. He suddenly became reluctant to further test on the rock. A rock that he found lying on the seashore, not fully understanding if it was hazardous or would cause harm. He was careful with it. The strongest of all tests for gold is the magnet analysis. It said that gold always attracts magnets. Utilizing magnets to discover the material provides the reader with valuable insight. After subjecting the rock to the magnet test, it was found that it was pure iron. It wasn't a space rock. He still had to figure out what caused the object to smell so bad. He decided he didn't know what he was doing. He wasn't sure if it was safe or not. He promptly made a phone call, and that's when the men in their suits arrived at his house. At this point, he realized he didn't know what he was dealing with. People online did contribute some support, but we can't entirely control them. After that, he did what he needed to do. He asked for help from experts. Wait till you see what's next. The officials turned up at their residence, sealed it off, and sequestered it. The men in their safety clothing entered the house to dispose of the particles safely. Stephen and Viola were standing at the front of their house trying to give them directions. The egg-like lump was put inside a box on the dining room table. After carefully examining the rock, the officials left the house without telling Stephen and Viola the news, which was truly scary. Stephen, next to his wife, anxiously waited and tried to figure out what was going on. He didn't expect the worst from it. The rock looked very odd and the officials' reactions were a little frightening. Stephen was relieved when he discovered that the thing he picked up at the beach wasn't hazardous. The rock was waste that was tossed on the beach. The officials informed Stephen that the rock was ambergris. The officials told him it was very rare and sometimes washed up on shore, so what is ambergris? Ambergris is an expensive substance, the smell of which is regarded as a synthesis between a squid and farmyard manure. However, after drying, its smell mellows into sweetness. This solvent has been used in creating fragrances for centuries. A few scholars believe the substance is safe to eat. Ambergris is a byproduct produced in whale bile ducts and then expelled. It sounds weird, but think about the fact that some people consider dry cockroach parts to be a rare find and worth a fortune. They felt lucky they could find something rare, but there was a downside. Sperm whales produce ambergris and they're found all over the world, from the coastal waters of Britain to anywhere else. Sperm whales are very large, and the sperm whale population was once sparse but has since increased. Whales were hunted for their blubber in the past. They made candles, soaps, and machine oils from their blubber. Ambergris was gathered for its fragrance. This ban was enacted owing to millions of whales being slaughtered. Ambergris was banned from import. Ambergris is formed slowly and only becomes better when it's older. It's unknown how much sperm whale generates this item. However, experts estimate about 1% of sperm whales have the ability to produce it regularly. They are formed from chemicals in the Atlantic Ocean that are harmful to humans. Ambergris is now a prohibited substance in the US. The criminal activity of bartering ambergris is part of a wider prohibition on whale hunting and mistreatment. Ambergris is thought of as a waste product in the UK, so what would it cost? Stephen and Viola were surprised when they learned that another ambergris piece was discovered at the beach in Morecambe, in close proximity to the beach where they made their finding. Turns out that the ambergris found in Morecambe was retailed for a massive $15,000. Stephen and Viola began contemplating how much they would get for their piece of floating treasure. The ambergris that the couple discovered in Morecambe was double that of the Whittons. That massive piece of whale waste weighed 6 pounds. That implies the Whittons can sell their ambergris for approximately $6.5 thousand. They'll definitely be smiling from ear to ear knowing that going for a stroll and picking up waste matter could have been the jackpot they've dreamt of winning. So what have they decided to do with the money? Will they be paying off their mortgage or maybe clearing some other type of debt? According to the couple, if they indeed make a lot of money from their rare find, it would be used to purchase a caravan or an RV that they've been dreaming about owning for some time. Well, here's hoping that their dream will be fulfilled.